All right, so we have this rotating slider mechanism. We're going to first click on the access document, and then that's going to take us over to our OnShape window, and we'll make a copy of this guy. And so when we make the copy, it does not show an assembly yet. It only shows the 3 parts. And so we are going to have to click this little plus icon in the bottom left and add an assembly, create assembly. And then when we look at the instructions, right, we'll notice that there are 2 of these little blocks. So when we go to insert our components, we're going to insert one of the grooved bases, okay, one block here, and maybe like a second block over here, and then one arm. Okay, we can move them wherever we want, and then we'll go ahead and click check. If you want to, you can right click and go ahead and fix this base if you want to. You don't have to necessarily, but we're kind of grounding that base. Okay, and so I'm going to show you the way that I did it personally, and then a much faster way. I'm not always the best at choosing these, so a lot of times I do it a little bit inefficiently. So I'm going to kind of show you 2 ways. So my way that honestly was a little bit slower is I like planar mates. I understand them well. So I chose a planar mate between this side of the guy, that block, and then this inside of the groove base. And if you hit play, I like that. You can see that it's rotating and it's moving. So I need to get rid of the rotation. I just want it to move. Okay, so I'm going to kind of come back up here, and I can just drag it. It's still going to drag up and down, right? So I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to choose a planar mate between the bottom surface and then this kind of top edge right there. And now, if I hit the check mark, now what's going to happen is now I can only move this within here. Now there's a much easier way to do that, and I'll show us that, but I'm familiar with planar. I like to use planar a lot. So I'll do the same thing with my other tool, or my other block. So, this side edge is going to get mated to that side edge. It's going to kind of rotate it, but again, it can still move up and down. All right, we can still rotate it. So now I'll go to the bottom, and I'll click on, this planar, this bottom plane with this top surface of the edge here. And we'll go ahead and click the check there. And again, now this can only move left and right there. So I'm going to go Shift 7 to get to our isometric view. And now I want to put in this down here. And honestly, this Revolute will be better, but I'm going to just show you how I did it first so you have different options. So I chose the cylindrical tool because I'm just very familiar with that one. Oops, let me move this over. So I did the cylindrical tool, and I kind of clicked on the bottom edge of this cylinder, right? If I go through the cylinder, it gives me the 3 edges. So I clicked on the bottom edge of the cylinder, and then I clicked on the bottom edge of one of these pins. And notice if we hit the play animation, it's allowing us to move, but it is actually going down as it moves and back up as it moves. So that's the problem with cylindrical. Cylindrical only keeps the center. So that's why Revolute is better. If I had chosen Revolute, just so you guys can see, on Revolute here, it just only revolves along the bottom. So Revolute's actually a lot better. So I initially was thinking cylindrical, but when I did the play, I said, actually that's Revolute's going to be better. Let's go with that. Okay. But just to show you, had I accidentally chosen cylindrical, it's not a big deal. Just kind of look at what happens. Oh, I can move it up and down. Well, how can I solve that? I could add a planar mate on this bottom edge. I want that bottom edge to be, kind of lined up with the top of that base. Let me see, actually. I think those are at different heights. So I want that bottom edge here to be connected with, let's try that one more time. Get rid of planar 5. So at the bottom of this guy to be lined up with, say, like the top of that edge. And so now this is actually the same thing as the Revolute. It's only allowing me to rotate it. Okay, so I did that for the first one. Now let's do that for the second one. So I can do cylindrical again, or I can do Revolute again. The problem here is it's really hard to pick out the bottom, but you can get there. the bottom, and the bottom. And I don't know if I actually got that first bottom. So if that happens to you, like, I'm not able to find that bottom, what you can do is you can right click on this guy and just, press hide. And so now we don't see it. And so now it's going to be easier to find that bottom. So cylindrical, let's go to the bottom mate connector and the bottom mate connector. And now I'll hit check. And so now those are locked in. Now I'm going to go back to my groove base in the window over here, and I can right click it and press show. All right, so now it's back. And so now I can just drag this arm, and this is the motion we want. So again, I did this a little bit trickier than we had to do it. So what I'm going to show is I'm going to actually get rid of all of these. And so just kind of go back to the starting spot and show how we could do this a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently. So, in this case, better than a planar feature would be our pin slot feature. Okay, so right here we have the pin slot. And so I want to get the bottom surface of here kind of acting as a pin along, basically I'm going to just choose the center of this surface. Now, if I go ahead and I click play, it's still allowing me to rotate it. It is kind of going forwards and backwards, but it's allowing that rotation. So because it's allowing that rotation, I want to click on my limits. And I want to say I don't want any rotation at all. So no minimum, no maximum. I'm going to hit solve. Right, solve applies that, and then I'm going to play it again. And that does allow it to just slide in and out like a pin would. Okay, so that's a little bit more efficient than applying the two mates. I'm going to do the same thing on this other one. I'm going to choose the pin selector. Right here. Go find the bottom of this guy. And then the top of that guy. And again, I'll do the same thing that I know that I'm going to need those limits. I don't want it to rotate at all. So no minimum, no maximum on the rotation. And oops, I got to solve it. If you don't press solve, it's not going to apply that rotation. So I'll solve it, then I'll hit play. That's what I want. So I'll hit our check mark. All right. And then I'm going to go back to Shift 7 to get to my isometric view. I can see, these just are rotating in and out with the two pin slots. Then, like I said, Revolut's going to be a little better. So I'm going to choose Revolut. And again, it's kind of hard to see this, but there we go. So I want the bottom of that middle. And then over here, I want the bottom of that piece. And if I hit play, you can see it's just rotating perfectly like I want to. So I'll go ahead and hit our check mark. That's what we wanted. And now I need to do another Revolut for the bottom of this one. And again, sometimes it's kind of hard to actually find it with that blocking. So if you're not sure that you got the bottom, you can do that hide again. But it looks like I did get it. And then I'll hit check. And so now, if I go back to my isometric view, as I rotate this, let's see. Oh, okay, you know what? This one I accidentally did a fasten. And so you'll notice that like I'm trying to rotate this, it's not allowing me to because I did a fasten. So if I double click it, no, I didn't want a fasten, I wanted a Revolut. Now it should allow me to go ahead and just revolve this. And so this was a lot easier, right? Doing this in 4 steps than doing it in, the multiple. I think I had 7 before. But either way works. You're going to get the same answer no matter how you do it. And just kind of showing that we have different options is to get to this expected, assembly. So go ahead and, take a screenshot of this. And actually for this one, so that I can actually tell that yours revolves like this, what I want you to do is actually share this one with me. And so go to share, type in my name in here. You can either do can edit or can view, either one is fine. Probably can edit, that way I can just move it and make sure that it's working right. And then, submit your link, or sorry, submit your screenshot, but make sure you share this one with me as well.